Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Just popping in. Y'all got to forgive me. I'm in this whole dark. Just 'cause I ain't felt like getting up and cutting no light on, staring in the camera. So, camera ain't even facing me, so you got to forgive me. I'm over here in Mallorca, Spain, with my son. And, today we came over to go to a game in Mallorca. One of my mentees, he play on Mallorca, Kyle Lauren. I posted him on my Instagram. Go check him out. Young brother out of Canada with Jamaican descent. Amazing brother. Amazing brother. It just, raise your son like that. Because not only did this brother give us the best tickets in the house, but he also drove us back to our hotel from the game. Which, who does that? I've taken my sons to so many professional games to meet pro athletes, and never once have somebody said, like, do you need a ride home, to my knowledge. But Kyle looked out for us and, spent that time with us and took us back to the hotel, and I met his friends, met his wife. It was a great time, but what happened was we in the hotel, and I just so happened to book this hotel, just kind of like my reasoning. Okay, I went to Marriott app because, I'm a Platinum Elite member on Marriott. So I went and I'm like, okay, I got 106,000 points. I probably could pay for a night or two with some points. But the points just wasn't working out. Like anywhere I searched, it just wasn't working out. That little scam they running, Marriott. But I end up, I put the address of the field in, and it brought up like three different hotels that's within 2 miles. And this hotel happened to be the cheapest of the three, but it still was now about 5 stars. It's 4.5 stars, and the views looked amazing. So I'm like, how is this, you know, the cheapest, but still look this nice? So I booked it for that reason, because it was like €100 cheaper than the second one, and like €300 cheaper than the first one. And I was gonna, splurge and do the first one, just, feeling bougie and just be acting bougie, and just wanted to make a nice little trip of it. But I said, no, this cheapest of the three that's within 2 miles is pretty decent. And so I went ahead and booked it. And then just so happened we get here, I see a big bus outside, and I'm like, okay, what's that bus out there? I'm guessing it's a tourist bus or like a shuttle bus. And then the next day, me and my son, we kind of walk around, and I start seeing all this security. I'm like, why is all this security moving around? This ain't normal. Come to find out, we at the hotel with Real Madrid. Now, Real Madrid, which I think they probably pronounce it Real Madrid, but Real Madrid, my son says like a top 5 team. And one of the top players, Mbappe, he coming to this team next year for a huge, huge deal. So the team is a big deal. I've always heard the name, but I just, I don't keep up with soccer like that. I only watch soccer. I only watch soccer when I'm watching my sons. I don't really like soccer. I just love my sons. So I put up with the sport because I love my kids. And so I really could not care less about none of these guys, to be honest. So I don't know nothing about none of them. But my son, he know everybody. He know their government name, first and last name. Everybody know their shoe size. And these guys here, they coming to the hotel. So now, they trying to tell us, hey, y'all got to get out this area. We're going to block this off, stand here, stand there. So we go outside. So we sitting outside of the hotel right in the front because the players about to pull up and come in. And just so happened to be a little kid out there with us. And he had some type of condition that, like, it was kind of like, a skin condition and, something like in his face. And it was a type of condition, I don't know what it was, but, cute little kid. And his dad brought him, looked like his dad and granddad. So they brought him. And so I'm like, okay, this a little kid. Now these players, they got to come talk to this little kid. And sure enough, Jude Bellingham, who really looked like an older version of my youngest son, Tatum, looked like an older version of him. They were speaking some Spanish to Jude. I think they say he's English, Jude is English, but they were speaking some Spanish to him, and Jude came over. My son was so excited, so excited. Most excited I ever seen him in his life. Took a picture with Jude. Then he took a picture with a few other guys, but one of the guys he took a picture with was this short black guy named Vinicius or Vinicio, somebody. But on his jersey it say Vinny Jr. And the man got 46 million followers on Instagram. That's how big this man is. But then even like Jude probably got 20 something million. Then they got like a young player. The boy look young to me. He look 18, but my son say he 28. His name Fendi or somebody, and Jalendi Fendi. But he got over 4 million followers. So I'm like, my goodness, what's going on? So this how big this game is. And the thing about it is, these men is little. Except for Jude, he's about 6'2". But the other guys, they little. All of them smaller than me. And I'm like, man, just the dedication. But the thing about it is, here I am. And I know some people don't like this, but deal with it. I'm a black man. Everybody in America know that black people, on average, that black men do not get to take their son out the country for 5 weeks. And for the second 5-week trip in the first 4 months of the year, that ain't nothing but God. And that's the whole thing that I've been stressing to my son this whole trip. Son, this God. I say, even if I didn't want to believe in God, I can't help but believe there's a God. Because think about it. I say, son, listen, think about it. I'm not fine. Like if I was this whole immaculate looking man to where the world got to eat out of my hand because of how I look, okay, I could blame it on that. If I was 6'4", I could blame it on that. If I was articulate, like no country accent, I could blame it on that. If I went to an Ivy League school, I could blame it on that. If I had a rich daddy come from wealth, I could blame it on that. But there is nothing different between me and anybody I know other than my commitment to God. And that's what I try to tell my son. Like, listen, son, I don't masturbate. I don't watch porn. I don't cheat on your mama. I don't get drunk. I don't smoke. I don't gamble. I live for the Lord 100%. And that is the only difference that I see is I have given my heart to Christ wholeheartedly. And that's the only thing that separates me from any man that I know. From any man that I know. And there's other men who live for Christ. that I know. But I don't know their whole 24 hours. I don't know their heart's posture. I don't know where their heart really at. But all I know that I have done nothing to deserve the grace and the favor that God has given. And I am 100% convinced that it is available to any and everybody. And some people say God have favorites, but that's not biblical. The Bible said God is a respecter of none, that God respects no person. He loves us all. He loves us all the same. But your commitment, and it ain't about your works. It is grace through faith, but you have to have works with your faith. So it ain't just keeping the law. It is serving God in spirit and in truth. And that's all that I could see. And if I could just get anybody to understand anything, is to give your heart to Christ. But you gotta do it wholeheartedly. Because if you jealous, if you bitter, if you angry, if you doubting, if you worrying. I had a client today. She was chasing me. I forgot to send her the invoice for the year of coaching program. And she reminded me 2 times. It's like that's the favor of God, that God will touch somebody's heart to pursue me, to hunt me down and say, Tony, send me that $10,000 invoice so I could make my deposit. That ain't nothing but God. That sister say, Tony, I want to work with you. We got to make this here happen. I need this consulting. I need this coaching. Let's make this here happen. The way I had forgot about it. And I tell my son, I say, boy, I don't know how. I do not know how. I don't know how God do what he do. I can't tell you how I'm in Europe for 5 weeks. I can't tell you how. But I could tell you who. And that's God. So listen to me. If you don't listen to nothing else I tell you, you better get to know the Lord. You better get to know the Lord. I don't know nothing about Islam. I don't know nothing about Jehovah's Witness. I don't know nothing about Mormon. I don't know nothing about Buddha. I don't know nothing about Hindu. I don't know nothing about voodoo, Hulu, or voodoo. But one thing I know is Jesus Christ. That's the one thing I know, Jesus Christ. Y'all gotta forgive me because I just opened that window because I don't know what's up with their AC over here. I don't think they got no AC over here in Mallorca. But I just opened the porch, let some cool air in, and that temperature change that made me stuffy. But listen to me because I got to go in a minute and a half. Listen. Don't let what God doing in somebody else's life make you jealous. Let it motivate you. Let it inspire you. And let it make you know that God can do for you. That he sit high and it look low. And that he will give you the desires of your heart if you willing to commit and to serve him and to love him. Because listen to me. When you stare down the barrel of a gun, when you contemplate taking a man's life, you don't believe in fairy tales. When you risk your freedom, You don't believe in fairy tales. If God weren't real, I wouldn't say so. Get your life right. God bless you. We'll talk soon.